Hi, and welcome to another OpenCRM webinar. This is just one of a series of webinars we have that are designed to help you get the most from your OpenCRM subscription. This time around, we are visiting the wonderful world of automations and workflow. I'm going to show you how automation can take care of all the routine jobs in your lead cycle. This allows your sales team to focus on their selling and being able to rely on the system taking care of the rest in the background. To begin with, let's look at how you can automatically create a lead when someone fills in a Contact Us form on your website. Although the person only fills in a couple of fields, there are some hidden fields that will help you manage that lead. Here you can see that lead in your CRM. As you can see, the system has auto-populated the lead source and assigned the lead to a user. And if we look at this lead in more detail, you can see that a couple more automations have been triggered. Firstly, an email plan has been launched. This automatically sends an email to the person that submitted the form. We'll come on to that email in more detail shortly. Secondly, it has also set an action plan. This action plan prompts the user that they need to send a brochure to the lead. Both the email and action plans were created by a condition. When the lead came in with a lead source of website, then that was the trigger to schedule these emails and actions. This is just a simple example. An email plan can be a series of emails, and as you'll see shortly, an action plan can be a series of calls, meetings and tasks. It is also useful to know that you can automate the suppression of these. If circumstances change and the email plan is no longer applicable, then this will prevent further automated emails from being sent. Okay, so now let's look at that initial email that was sent automatically. Here you can see the system has used merge variables to auto-populate the name of the email recipient. I'm sure you've read about how marketing works better when your communications are personalized. Well, here you have a great example of that. I've also added a link into my email and put a series of automations behind that. When the person clicks, it takes them to the link as you would expect, but a couple of other things happen behind the scenes. So if we refresh my lead record, firstly, it logs an activity and alerts me that the recipient has clicked the link. That is useful as it tells me right away that my email was of interest. Secondly, I've added some workflow to update the rating of my lead to hot if they've interacted with my email. If I now look at my view for hot leads, we can see the lead has now been added to that list. Now that we know that the lead has got legs, you might want to prioritize the automated activity and send that brochure. Whilst I'm here, I'm going to use the follow-up activity feature to schedule a call and make sure that they receive the brochure. This follow-up section is useful in a number of ways. It has automatically linked the lead to the activity. It's prefixed the subject with FUP so that I know that we're dealing with a follow-up. Also really useful, it adds the detail of the previous activity into the description with a date and timestamp, so you know exactly why this new activity is relevant when it pops up on your radar. At this stage, it feels like we have nurtured our lead enough to push them onto the next stage and add them to our opportunities pipeline. Converting a lead is nice and straightforward. Just go to the lead in question and click the Convert Lead button. On this screen, you have various options which allow you to convert that lead to any combination of contact, company, and opportunity. You can add details to the opportunity, such as setting an anticipated value, expected close date, sales stage, and an action plan. There is a duplicate check enabled on this screen that verifies if the company already exists in your system. If it does, it will append the contact and opportunity to that company. If not, it will create a new one. Once you've converted the lead, all the activities and emails that were logged will also be carried across, so you don't lose any of that rich history you've already gathered. To make sure your lead management is progressing, you can also report on your converted leads. Here you can see a report of the leads I've converted, together with the total value of the opportunities created. The first behind the scenes automation here is some workflow that I've set up to automatically update the contact type to prospect. Working with your opportunity is very similar to what we did with leads, updating sales stages, logging calls, meetings, tasks and emails against the opportunity as you progress it in your sales pipeline. As with before, the system does the heavy lifting, letting the salesperson make the most of their soft skills and personality to do their job. Think about what should happen with each sales stage you use. As you can see, changing the sales stage also updates the probability and weighted amount, which is a useful sum to use for your sales forecasting. So here's a question for you to think about. Are there any other workflows, action plans or automated emails that would make your own sales process slicker? There are a couple of automations on opportunities that come as standard. Firstly, you can have an alert based on things such as changes in value, the active period and the expected close date. If the value goes up or down, an icon will show next to the opportunity name. And if the expected close date is today, the date on this list view will show in green. If the date has passed, it will show in red. In this last section of the webinar, I'm going to show you a few things to consider when closing your opportunities. Let's start with the worst case scenario when an opportunity is closed lost. In this instance, you might want to add a conditional field and make this appear when the stage is closed lost, so that you can record the reason why the opportunity was lost. Moving on to happier times, let's look at some automations to think about when your opportunity is closed won. First, you could automate a notification to be sent to the finance team, for example, letting them know to set up a new account. Secondly, you might want the closed won opportunity to automatically update the contact type from prospect to customer. You could also automatically generate a new project from the closed won opportunity, where you can track the deliverables that have been agreed. Finally, you could automate an email to go to the client outlining the next steps and perhaps even containing a link to a satisfaction survey. Let's take a quick look at the survey and how it works. Clicking the link takes your recipient to the online form, but it has done something clever in the background too. As you can see here, it contains a field with the ID of your contact. If we now look at the admin console of that form, when you're ready to go live, I'd recommend you hide that contact ID field. That means the person filling in the form doesn't see the field, but it can still be used in the next automation step. When the person clicks the submit button, that information is pushed back into OpenCRM. I've used the hidden contact ID field to link that form submission back to the right contact in the system. Here, as you can see, the contact record has been updated. As with all other data logged in the system, you can report on this information. That gives you a nice performance related report you might use when tracking your KPIs. Okay, to recap, in this webinar I've shown you a ton of automations available to help you manage your leads and opportunities. Whether it is to update existing or linked records, automatically create emails, activities and notifications, or even create new records. All of this is configurable at admin user level with no need for development or coding skills. In our next webinar, we'll be demonstrating automation based around the next steps of the sales process, all the way through to pushing data into third-party accounting packages. I hope you've enjoyed this webinar, so once again, thank you for watching.